Have you ever worked incredibly hard at something, poured your heart into it, gave everything you had, and still felt like the world wasn't ready to recognize you? Like you were doing everything right, but the reward just wasn't coming? Most of us have been there. We live in a world that celebrates overnight success. We see the highlights, the award ceremonies, the champagne moments. We see the finished painting, but nobody shows us the years of failed sketches on the floor. We live in the age of instant gratification. A video goes viral in 24 hours. A startup raises millions in a weekend. A song tops the charts the first week it drops. And somewhere in the back of our minds, we start to believe that if success isn't coming fast, it's not coming at all. So we give up. We pivot. We tell ourselves we weren't meant for it. We convince ourselves that maybe we were chasing the wrong dream. And that belief, that patience is weakness, that waiting means failing, that belief destroys more potential than any rejection letter ever could. Here's the truth nobody tells you: the most extraordinary people in the world are not the ones who got lucky early. They are the ones who refused to quit when luck was nowhere to be found. And there is no better example of that truth than a kid from East Los Angeles, born to a single mother, who grew up in one of the roughest neighborhoods in America, and became one of the greatest actors who ever lived. His name is Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio was born on November 11, 1974, in Los Angeles, California. His parents divorced when he was just 1 year old. He grew up splitting time between his mother Ermeline, who raised him with almost no money, and his father George, a comic book artist and underground filmmaker. There was no wealth, no safety net, no famous family name to open doors. The neighborhood he grew up in, Los Feliz at its edges, slipping into Hollywood's forgotten corners, was harsh. Poverty, drugs, dysfunction, these were not abstract concepts. They were the backdrop of his childhood. But there was something in young Leonardo. An electricity. A burning need to perform, to become someone, to transform. As a child, he would mimic everyone around him. He would watch TV and copy accents, gestures, emotions. His father noticed this and, rather than suppressing it, encouraged it. He introduced Leo to art, to underground culture, to the idea that the world was bigger than their block. At 14, DiCaprio started auditioning. He had no connections, no agent, no formal training. Just hunger. And in the beginning, the world said no. He was rejected from commercial after commercial. Casting directors told him to change his name. DiCaprio sounded too ethnic, they said. They told him he wasn't the right look. He didn't fit the mold. To this, not enough that. His own agent dropped him. Imagine being 15 years old, already fighting life's hardest battles at home, and being told over and over that you're simply not good enough. Most kids would have stopped. Most adults would have stopped. Leonardo DiCaprio did not stop. His early career was not glamorous. He took small television roles. He appeared in low-budget films. He worked on the horror comedy Critters 3, a movie he himself has called one of the worst ever made. But he showed up. He studied every role. He treated every opportunity, no matter how small, like it was his Broadway debut. That discipline caught people's attention. In 1992, he was cast in a supporting role in This Boy's Life alongside Robert De Niro, one of the greatest actors alive. DiCaprio was 17. He had to fight for the role. The director didn't want him. But he walked into that audition and owned it so completely that they couldn't say no. Robert De Niro later said that working with DiCaprio, even then, felt like working with a true actor. Someone who understood the craft at a level that most people spend decades reaching. That same year, DiCaprio was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, playing a young man with a developmental disability with such authenticity that audiences didn't believe he was acting. He was 19 years old. The world started paying attention. Then came Romeo and Juliet. Then came Titanic. In 1997, Titanic became the highest-grossing film in history. Leonardo DiCaprio was the biggest movie star on the planet. He was 23 years old, his face was on every magazine cover, and every studio in Hollywood wanted him. And here is where the story gets truly interesting. After Titanic, DiCaprio could have done anything. Any romantic lead. Any blockbuster franchise. Any easy, guaranteed hit. He could have printed money for the next 20 years playing the same charming, handsome hero. He chose a different path entirely. He turned down massive paydays to chase difficult, uncomfortable, unconventional roles. He played a drug addict in the Basketball Diaries. He played a con artist and a mentally unstable man in Catch Me If You Can and The Aviator. He played a diamond smuggler in war-torn Africa in Blood Diamond. He went inside corrupt Wall Street culture in The Wolf of Wall Street, a role that required him to spend months studying real fraudsters, learning how manipulation works at its ugliest. He was not chasing fame. He was chasing mastery. And then came the Academy Awards. DiCaprio was nominated for an Oscar in 1994. He lost. He was nominated again in 2005. He lost. He was nominated in 2014. He lost. He was nominated in 2016, for the fourth time, for The Revenant, a film so physically grueling that he slept inside animal carcasses, endured freezing rivers, and ate raw bison liver to bring his character to life. For 22 years, he went to that ceremony and walked away empty-handed. 22 years. Let that sink in. 22 years of being told by the most prestigious institution in his industry, not yet. Not you. Not this time. So how did he do it? How does anyone keep going in the face of that much rejection, even while achieving extraordinary things? DiCaprio once said, "Every next level of your life will demand a different version of you." He understood that growth was not linear. That each role, each failure, each season of waiting was not wasted time, it was preparation. It was the universe building the foundation for something larger. He was deeply intentional about his choices. He didn't take roles for money. He took roles that scared him, that challenged him, that forced him to become someone he had never been before. That discipline, that refusal to settle for comfortable, is what separates legends from celebrities. He also understood the power of mentorship and learning. He surrounded himself with the greatest directors alive: Martin Scorsese, Clint Eastwood, Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino. He watched them obsessively. He asked questions. He treated every set like a classroom. And outside of film, he channeled his platform into something greater than himself. Since the early 2000s, DiCaprio has been one of the most vocal advocates for environmental protection in the world. He established the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, committed hundreds of millions of dollars to climate causes, and used his Oscar speech, the moment the whole world was finally watching, not to celebrate himself, but to call the world to action on climate change. That is the mark of someone who understood why they were given a platform. He once reflected, "I've been very lucky in the roles I've had, but I've also worked very hard. I've made choices that have been risky. I've taken on roles that are different from what I've done before. And I think the key is never to stop growing." Never stop growing. On February 28, 2016, at the 88th Academy Awards, Leonardo DiCaprio walked onto that stage for the fourth time. The room was silent. And when they said his name, when the words Leonardo DiCaprio finally rang through that auditorium as the winner, he didn't collapse. He didn't cry out. He walked to that podium with the quiet dignity of a man who had always known this moment would come. A man who had simply been patient enough to wait for it. He said, "Making The Revenant was about man's relationship to the natural world. A world that we collectively felt in 2015 as the hottest year in recorded history. Our production needed to move to the southern tip of this planet just to find snow. Climate change is real, it is happening right now. It is the most urgent threat facing our entire species, and we need to work collectively together and stop procrastinating." 22 years of waiting. And when the moment came, he used it to talk about something bigger than himself. That is patience. That is development. That is what it looks like when someone truly understands why they are here. So what do we take from all of this? You may not be chasing an Oscar. Your stage might be a boardroom, a classroom, a studio, a sports field, a family dinner table. Your version of success might look completely different from Leonardo DiCaprio's. But the principles are the same. First, refuse to let the timeline define you. DiCaprio waited 22 years for his industry's highest honor, and spent every single one of those years becoming better. The waiting was not punishment. The waiting was preparation. Your timeline is not a sign of failure. It is the quiet, invisible work of becoming someone the moment can trust. Second, choose growth over comfort, always. He could have coasted. He could have played the same safe role forever. Instead, he deliberately chose difficulty. He chose fear. He chose the roles that kept him up at night, because he knew that on the other side of that discomfort was a version of himself he hadn't met yet. Seek out the thing that challenges you. That's where you grow. Third, build a purpose larger than your personal success. The most enduring legacies are not built on personal achievement alone. They are built on what you do with your achievement. DiCaprio understood that his platform was borrowed, given to him by the audience, by the world, and that it came with responsibility. Ask yourself, when your moment comes, what will you use it for?
Fourth, show up.
Every single day. Not on the days when you feel inspired. Not when the circumstances are perfect. Show up when you're tired. Show up when you've been rejected. Show up when the role is small and the audience is empty and nobody is watching. Because your character is built in the moments no one sees. And finally, believe in the compound interest of effort. Every audition DiCaprio went to, every line he studied, every uncomfortable role he took, none of it was wasted.
It all compounded. It all built on itself.
Your efforts are doing the same thing. You may not see the results today. You may not see them next year. But they are accumulating. They are building something. And one day, on a stage you can't yet imagine, in a moment you can't yet see, it will all make sense.
You are not behind.
You are not failing. You are not too late. You are in the middle of your story, and the middle of every great story looks messy, uncertain, and exhausting. That is not a sign that the story is bad. It is a sign that something worth telling is being written. Leonardo DiCaprio sat in that audience for 22 years watching other people win.
And he kept going.
He kept choosing the harder path, the braver role, the more meaningful fight. And when his moment came, it was worth every year of waiting. So whatever you are building right now, keep building. Whatever you are becoming, keep becoming. Whatever dream you are patient enough to still believe in, keep believing. Because patience is not passive. Patience is the most active, courageous, disciplined thing a human being can practice. It is choosing to trust the process when the results aren't visible. It is choosing to grow when growing is invisible. It is choosing to show up when showing up feels pointless. It never is. Your moment is not lost. It has not passed you by. It is being built, right now, in the quiet, in the waiting, in the work nobody sees.
Keep going.